Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating a new wall shutter design incorporating a mesh panel that you can use for displaying your personal decor. Now this shutter is made from all wood, and I was inspired to create it as a special gift for a friend. Now I will provide all of the measurements to assist you in recreating these and show you how to use inexpensive wood pieces to make this into a high-end look. Now, as always, all of the projects I create have complete supply lists in the description box, so you can easily use it for reference as you gather your supplies. Now, before I start, I have to say hey to all of my subscribers, and if you are a new visitor to my channel, I hope you consider subscribing as well and stick around to enjoy this craft and the different ways I'll show you how to style this in your space. So now, let's just jump right into this project. Now for this project, we're going to need two 1x2 pieces of wood, and you can purchase this at the Home Depot or Lowe's in 8-foot lengths for about $1.54, but be sure to check your local pricing. Now we'll also need 1 pack of these 1-gallon paint stir sticks for 98 cents, and we're going to need 1 black wire mesh wastebasket from the Dollar Tree, or you can use this gutter guard screening that you can get from your local home improvement store near the rain gutter supplies. Now there's a couple ways that you can join the corners of your shutters, and you can join them here in a straight cut at a 90-degree angle, which is the easiest way. Your long piece will be 22.5 inches, and your shorter piece across the top will be 5.5 inches. Now, if you choose to join your corners in a miter, which I think looks a lot more high-end, your long piece will still need to be 22.5 inches, and your top piece will be 8.5 inches. Now, these measurements are based on the longest end of the wood cut. So I chose to go with the mitered corners for my piece, and I'll cut 4 pieces at 22.5 inches, 4 pieces at 8.5 inches, and I'll need 4 pieces that are cut straight at 5.5 inches. Now we're also going to take our paint sticks and cut those down. So I'm going to cut the handle off, and there'll be 9 inches, and then I'm going to cut that 9 inches in half, and you'll result 2 stacks at 4.5 inches long. So now I'm going to lay out all my pieces, which are my end pieces, all my paint sticks, all my center pieces, and I'm going to stain them with my Jacobian Stain by Minwax. Now I'm just going to take a rag, and I am actually going to be staining all the sides of my sticks. Now I usually only stain the sides and the back, but since this is a gift, I'm going to paint all of the sides except for the ends of these pieces. And then I'm going to stain the remainder of those long pieces. So the long pieces here are now stained, and then I'm going to stain my center pieces, my end pieces here, and then all of my paint stir stick pieces. So now that our pieces have sat out and dried for a few hours, we're ready to assemble our shelves. So for each shelf, we're going to need 2 of the long pieces, 2 of the center pieces, and 2 of the top mitered corners, and grab 10 pieces of those paint stir sticks. So I'm going to be using my grid mat as a guide to help lay everything out nice and even. So we want to start by laying out our 2 side pieces, making sure they're nice and even, and then grabbing my 2 end miter pieces. Now I'm just laying these out just to make sure everything fits okay. So once we determine that fit, we're going to grab those 2 end pieces, and we're going to start bonding each one of the miter cornered at the ends, just applying some Surebonder wood stick hot glue, and this is just going to temporarily hold it until we screw them into place. Now you can use wood glue as well, but just keep in mind it does take a little bit longer to dry. So now grab those 2 straight cut pieces that are 5.5 inches, and I want to place them approximately 4 inches down from the top piece. You want to make sure there is a 4-inch gap in between them. So once we get our 4-inch location, add some more of that Surebonder wood stick hot glue and press it in place against the frame at that 4-inch mark, and then we're going to repeat this on the other side. Now, once we bond that one in place, both of those are where they need to be. Now, here's a trick and tip. Cut these center pieces maybe about 1/4 of an inch longer, since they will vary on the fit, and it's better to cut them longer than shorter, and you can adjust them later. So now that those are in place, add a dab of that wood stick hot glue on top of the edges of the frame and those center pieces, and press the other side of the frame into place until everything is nice and secured. So here is my frame all initially bonded together. So now, like I mentioned before, we are going to screw these together. So for the corners of my frame, I am going to use some 1.5 inch wood screws. And then to attach those centers, we are going to be using some 2 inch wood screws. So what I'm going to do to apply these is I'm first going to drill pilot holes on all 4 corners of the frame where my screws will be inserted. And then I'm going to drill pilot holes through those centers as well. And so now we can finally secure the frame together. Go ahead and grab one of those 1.5 inch wood screws and place one in each corner of the frame. Now, once all 4 corners are nice and secured, we can do those center pieces with our 2 inch wood screws and just apply those in place the same way we did as our corners. So here is a shot of all of my screws into place, and you can see where they're placed. Now you can see them in the final project, but I will have a resolution to blend those in, and that will come later in this project. Okay, so now we're going to flip the frame over with the good side down and the back side facing you. And this is where we're going to start adding our paint stir sticks. So I am going to take those paint stir sticks, and I'm going to grab 5 of those. And you want to make sure that the numbered or printed side is facing you, since this is the back side of the project. And you want to space them evenly in that top opening, leaving about 1/8 of an inch gap. Now to apply these, I'm just going to add some of that Surebonder wood stick hot glue on each end and then press it into place. I like to add the beginning one and the end one first, and then space all the middle ones out in, just making sure they're evenly spaced when you place the middle ones in place. And here they are, all bonded into place. So now I'm going to flip it around, and I am going to do the same thing on the opposite side, just making sure all of 5 of those paint stir sticks are evenly placed and secured. So now we're going to work on the center. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning, you can use a Dollar Tree wastebasket. You can take some wire clippers, you can cut off the bottom of the basket, cut off the ring of the basket, and then cut the mesh to fit inside the opening. For this project, I am going to be using this gutter guard screen. It's a really, really thick, durable mesh, and I'm going to use this to cover the inside. Now, it is 6 inches wide, so it will cover the opening in one cut. So I'm just going to roughly cut a piece that will fit inside and cover up that opening in my shutter. Now once you lay it out, you can go ahead and make any adjustments to the edges and make sure they're trimmed nice and neat. So once everything looks good, we can start bonding it to our frame, and I'm just going to apply some staples using my staple gun. Now, how I like to apply this is I first like to apply around the 4 corners. So I'm going to secure the 2 bottom corners first, and then I am going to tug and stretch it, just making sure it's laying completely flat, and then I'm going to add 2 staples at the top part as well. So now all we have to do is go around the completed frame. We are just going to go around, make sure that the staples are applied, 3 to 5 staples per side. You're just making sure you stretch it and make sure it's nice and smooth as you apply your staples. And here is my mesh insert all secured into place. So now what we're going to do, flip it over and we're going to add our hangers to the back. Now, as of late, my favorite hanger style are these D-ring style hangers, and they come with little screws with them, and you can get these in bulk from Amazon, less than $10 for about 100 of them, and I love to use these. So I'm just going to place one on each side of the top of the frame, and I want to make sure they're evenly placed, and then take my pencil and mark where the screw will be inserted. And then this wood is very soft. You don't really need a screw or a pilot hole. You could just screw it directly into the wood with a nice handheld screwdriver, and it'll go in nice and easy. And there you go. You have your 2 hangers in place. Now, if you don't want to use hangers, you certainly can use jute twine and staples, as I've done before, and it works just as well. So once that's done, we can go ahead and assemble our second shutter. And now we have our 2 shutters fully assembled and ready to hang. Now, before we hang them, I mentioned before, if you wanted to cover your screws and make them less apparent, you can cover them with acrylic paint. So I'm going to mix some chocolate brown with some black, and I'm going to blend it until it gets to a color very close to my Jacobean stain by Minwax. And all I'm going to do is take a fine paintbrush. I'm going to dab that acrylic paint on top of the screw and inside the grooves of the screw until it is all filled in. Now we want to complete this all the way around both frames, letting them dry and adding a second coat. And here they are, all fully covered. I think they look really great. Now you can add a third coat if you like, but I think this is a good way to hide your screws if you don't have specialty tools to make pocket holes or pocket screws. And when that's completely dry, you can hang up on display. So here is the final result of these shutter pieces, and I really love the way that this design turned out. Now the low-cost 1x2s paired with the paint sticks always works well together, and it looks so awesome when it gets stained. And making the corners with straight cuts is really great, but the mitered corners really give these a higher end look, which I absolutely love. Now this mesh middle adds an element of texture and also allows you more options to decorate, and I'll show you. So now to incorporate the options to hang and add decor to your shutters, I will show you just a few options. And for example, here is a metal planter from the Dollar Tree that we might want to hang. So all we're going to do is add something in the middle to hold it. Now, the most convenient way is to use one of these little screw hooks that you could get from any hardware store and screw it right into the top and the center, and that will hold just about anything that has a hanger. Or you can use some of these picture hanger hooks that Dollar Tree sells often, and you can add this to the center at the top as well. And this comes with nails as well to hammer that in. And of course you would need to probably add some acrylic paint to match your Jacobean stain so it doesn't stand out. Now you can also use a standard nail as well, and this is the option that I went with. Now another option, if you wanted to add a box or a crate to hang, this will actually hook directly to the mesh if you wanted to. Just take a couple of those picture hanger hooks that I mentioned before. You can place them upside down on the back of the crate, and you can hot glue those into place. Now these hooks, when hot glued onto your crate, box, or vase, will hook right into that mesh and they'll hold them in place. And that is also another great option. So here I've hung a few of these planters up, and I've got these from the Dollar Tree, and I think they look great. Now I think that these planters make a really nice accent to these shutters, and the metal and wood always look great together. Now of course you can place any kind of flowers or greenery inside that you like. Now another option are lights. Now I think that these would be perfect for spaces that need a little extra soft glow. Now I have used some greenery and fairy lights inside, but you can definitely leave off the greenery if you like. Now I do think this is so sweet and subtle, and definitely an option I would recommend. Now you can also pair these up with other decor that you may already have in your home, and I'm just using this garden fence decor that I made earlier this year. Now I think that blending the different textures and styles makes it very visually appealing, and you could just have fun with creating your own unique combinations. Now, of course, if you love a more traditional look, you can add a few of these 8-inch wreath forms hanging from the top, and these were made with Dollar Tree wreath forms. Now, even though all of these looks give it a special touch, there's never one as great as your own. Now, if you're interested in any of these decorative accessories that I used in my staging, I will be sure to link the tutorials for them in the description box for more details on how you can create them as well. Listen, if you love DIYs on a budget, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Make sure that you're following She's So CraftDee on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below, or just click on my She's So Crafty logo on your screen and make sure you hit that bell to be notified when my next DIY goes live. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.